This is Hinos' Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. All right, I want to talk about LeBron James. Here's the thing, folks. See, I was trying to tell you guys this a long time ago, but people weren't listening to me. This is why I say hear me and hear me well. Folks are now understanding when Hinos' Sport says something, the basketball prophet and the basketball visionary of him comes and it manifests and it shows itself. This is why I tell people, either listen to me and be on the side of truth right then and there, or be left behind and then you have to catch up after the fact. Let me say that again. Be on the side of truth and you line yourself up with it, with the ultimate truth teller that comes with cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth. And the truth of the fact of the matter is this, or be left behind and then have to find yourself catching up right thereafter. Here's the facts. I told you guys, man, the NBA was coming after LeBron James. I knew this. He's the last biggest piece on that's on the chopping block from the Banana Boat crew. Dwayne Wade skate out of there because Dwayne Wade knew he had to leave on his term. Dwayne Wade was the only smart one out of the group. Then you have Carmelo Anthony. You guys already see what they did to Carmelo Anthony. I don't even need to tell you guys. The man's blacklisted. Basically, he's blackballed. I will talk about that in another video. But LeBron James and Chris Paul are basically going to get excoriated from the NBA. See, Chris Paul's already the decline has already happened, but it's going to continue to manifest with Chris Paul because as you get traded, right, your value drops. I told you that. It doesn't matter the level of player that you are. When you are traded, your level, your marquee drops. This trade from Houston to the OKC, this is a demotion for Chris Paul. But I'll talk about his ass in another video. I want to talk about LeBron James. Here's what's the first sign. The last season, when LeBron James was basically told by anonymous executives, because remember, the league is run by the commissioner and the 30 NBA owners. But who are their lackeys? It's the NBA executives and the NBA GMs. They are basically the mouthpiece. You know what I'm saying? They are basically who speaks on behalf of what the owner's vision and what the owner's mindset is. They don't speak on their own accord. How dare they do that? They get fired. They speak on what the owners are saying. And a lot of times you got to listen to these NBA executives. You got to listen to these NBA GMs because they're telling you of foretelling events that's going to happen. Last year, the NBA executives basically said that LeBron James is no longer the guy that you want to surround yourself around. Basically, when you're trying to start a team. If you're starting a team, you're not going to start with him. That was the first domino effect that fell. When you see GMs each and every year keep saying, if I have to start my team, if the game is on the line, or if I have to start my team, it's going to be this guy, this player, a la LeBron James. Next thing you know, all of a sudden, that stuff stopped happening. That's big. Because that tells you how the NBA executives and NBA GMs through the lens of the NBA owners view players in the NBA and their stature and their ranking. So you guys have to pay attention to these things. I told you guys, I'm Hinos' Sport. I'm unique. I'm rare and unique because I look at the finite details of everything that people don't look at. That started to take its toll. When that started to happen, you could see right then and there. And then there was anonymous reports of NBA executives saying, yeah, if I was Jenny Buss, I would trade LeBron James because I would get the little circus, the little baggage, the little nonsense show out of LA so that I can rebuild. See, that was right after David Griffin prior said that, you know what I'm saying, LeBron James is basically like the hardest person to work with. He goes in to your team and is as if this was the first time, the first crack that, or the punch that David Griffin, because he's the only open one that said that. Remember, there's a lot of anonymous executives and GMs out there, but he's the open one that has come out and said, you know, the thing with working under this guy is he goes in and you really don't have no power. He's the one that pretty much plays all of the cards, and then when he leaves your team, he leaves it until the obliteration, right? And then you become a lottery draft pick team. You guys have to understand this thing was going to catch up eventually to LeBron. They were just waiting on the decline of his game, and we're starting to see the decline unfold in leagues and his droves. When has this man been considered a first team all defensive player? Then not only that, I'm gonna get on a few other points. Let's fast forward into this offseason. LeBron James was 0 in MVP votes. There has not been a season since this offseason that LeBron James has placed 0 in MVP votes. That should tell you something. That's a glaring picture right there. Because MVP votes is an indicator of what? Most valuable player. I'm not a big person that looks into stats, but there are certain elements of stats that are crucial and important that you cannot excoriate, you cannot ignore. And he was 0. Not only that, the league census amongst NBA executives and NBA GMs, who are the mouthpiece of the owner, said that the Los Angeles Lakers will not win the NBA Finals. Usually NBA executives and GMs in the offseason before the season takes place always tell you what the forecast is going to be, who they feel are the NBA favorites to make it to the NBA Finals. It's usually the best players that's usually on the best teams. Well, they don't see LeBron James as the best player, and they don't see him on the best team. That's another indicator. Now let's fast forward a little bit. David Griffin just came out of his mouth again and said that his time with being the GM in the Cleveland Cavaliers was both miserable and both a nightmare, basically being under LeBron James. And he questioned LeBron James' willingness to want to win. This is not the first time that LeBron James' willingness has been questioned. The great Pat Riley prior, who was on the Miami Heat, questioned LeBron James. When basically he said, so when things are going to get tough, are you going to stay there and are you going to ride the ship, or are you going to cower and run away? And we saw what LeBron James does. Every time the going gets tough, this man runs away. He always finds a way out of the situation, folks. And then now let's look at Klutch Sports. Rich Paul. They just lost one of their marquee, signings to the sports agency, Marcus Morris. We know the public issue with that. Usually when a name like a Rich Paul has to come out and basically have to counter what happened, that's a bad look. Because if it didn't happen the way that you think it did, why do you need to come back to counter what's going on? I'm telling you guys, man, you guys have to pay attention. The legacy is officially over. The cachet is officially done. If LeBron James is smart, he better get his ass out of the NBA, because when he fully declines, because the decline is happening dramatically and exponentially, folks. Let me say that again. The decline in this man's game is happening dramatically and exponentially. The man no longer has the athleticism or the lift. The man no longer has the blow-by ability to blow by opponents. That's why he has to do the push-off, so that he can get opponents off of him. And the man doesn't play defense. There's a lot of areas of his game that's pedestrian at this point. His free throw percentage is gone down. It's gone atrocious. I'm telling you guys, man, this guy's game is suffering. This guy's game has basically taken a backseat. People can't see that because they're like, oh, well, LeBron James did all of this stuff last year, so his game really didn't decline. Yeah, let's see. He did all of that last year because he had no choice but to do that, because of the fact that he really didn't have nobody he was playing with like that, right? There was nobody else but him, so he had to go all out. So watch when he has all of these pieces this year. Watch what happens. I'm telling you folks, man. I've been trying to tell people this stuff for the longest, but they wouldn't pay attention. If LeBron James is smart, if I was him, I would get out in two seasons. If he waits more than 2 NBA seasons and he doesn't get out, remember, I was the first one to say this. Y'all gonna put respect on He Knows the Sports name. If he waits longer than 2 seasons, the NBA is going to blacklist him. Let me say that again. The NBA is going to blacklist him. LeBron James has 2 more years of basketball before the NBA start really putting his ass out there. Because if he does not leave in another 2 more years, watch, he's going to get traded from the Los Angeles Lakers, and that's when the domino effect is going to take place. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.